What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Kinstretch class brought to you by Stretch Tech. My name is Coach Luke, and I'll be taking you through today's 30-minute Bearsit focused Kinstretch class. So today's gonna be a little bit different, as in most classes, as we will continue to do, focus on specific joints of the body or specific actions of the body that the joints go through. Today's class is going to be just a 30-minute class focusing on everything out of Bearsit. So we're going to use some rails, we're going to use some holds, we're going to use some lift-offs, we're going to use some swimmers, and have some fun. We're going to be in position for the whole class today. So you can start in this position if you feel like you're mobile enough and feel comfortable and hips feel fun. You can stay in position the whole class. Or if you want to, as the class progresses and hips fatigue more, or as we go into our swimmers, which is a little bit more challenging from the Bearsit, you can certainly sit on a block, as this will create a little bit more space between you and the floor and give your hips a little bit more space, so it's a little bit easier to sit up, takes a little bit of pressure off those deep hip flexors. So it's up to you. Choose your own adventure. You can definitely go in and out from the block. It's up to you. It's just kind of how you feel and you feel like you get the most out of the things that we're doing for this position. So we're just going to start going right into this position here. We're going to start with some what we call windshield wipers or just internal and external rotation. So we can start here, but we're going to take our hands behind us, and then we're just going to be working from just this position here as we work on rotation of this hip. So what we want to think about is we'll start just on the right hip, and we're just going to work on internally rotating that hip. Make sure both sit bones stay on the floor. Make sure I'm not rotating completely out of it. Make sure both sit bones stay down, and then I can just open up as much as possible. So we're going to still use the arms, spread the forward, give yourself some stability. You don't want to lean all the way back, but you also don't want to be so far forward that you close off some of that hip rotation. So kind of find a happy medium there. Keep those knees about 90 degrees. And we're going to go 5 reps. 2, both sit bones stay down. Open up as far as you can. So look at this similar to it is a capsule car. So we're just trying to rotate as far as we can, and just like our capsule cars, push into that boundary, push in where it feels a little bit uncomfortable. Open up as much as you can, try to get that knee lift. It's 3, let's go 2 more. Open. Close, open. 1 more, close. Internal. Squeeze it, feel the inner thigh working there. And then as we open up, feel that outer glute firing as we try to open the hip up towards the floor. And then we'll switch sides. Reset the position if you need to. Both sit bones stay down. We're going to close, internal rotation, open, into external rotation. There's 1. 2, every time. Get in, but not just here, right? I want to try to keep pushing in, keep trying to get where it feels uncomfortable. As long as both sit bones stay down. Open up. Squeeze this hip, continuing to try to open up the whole time here. Try to continue to spread those knees apart. There. Open again. 4. Plus 1. There. Close it. Squeeze it. Open up. Squeeze. Feel those glutes firing. And relax. Okay? From here, we're going to work some hip flexion position. So we'll go back to the right hip. So we're just going to be here. All we're going to do, instead of just trying to lift the knee this way, we're going to try to pull this knee towards the same side shoulder. So as I go from here, legs are open, and I'm just going to lift, pull, back out, back down. Lift that foot. So here, I'm trying to pull the knee, anything else moving, get that hip flexion, back out, and down. It's 2, we got 5 reps there. Lift the foot, pull the knee to the shoulder, squeeze those hip flexions, don't let anything else move. Back down, that's 3. Lift, squeeze, back, forward, last 1. Get taller if you can. Spread the floor with the hands. Lift, pull the knee, squeeze it, back out, and down. That's 5. Let's go switch. So lift, squeeze that knee up towards the shoulder. Back to the start position. Set down slightly. There, lift the foot. Squeeze that knee up to the shoulder. Back out. Down. 2. Make your body stays nice and still. Here, reset if you have to. Lift. Knee. Back. 3. 2 more. Lift the foot. Pull the knee. Squeeze those hip flexors. Back out. down. We got a last one here. Lift that foot, pull that knee, squeeze it, back out, and down. Okay? From there, we get right into, if you want to sit on a block, you can sit on a block. We get into some bear sit, tails and rails. So from here, I'm in this bear sit. Sit up nice and tall. I'm going to open up those knees, open up those hips, and use my elbows to slowly start to drive my knees away from each other, slowly towards the floor. Feeling the stretch all through here. Grab your shins with your hands, and then use them not only for stability here, but to pull yourself up nice and tall, like you're trying to stick your butt out. That'll help lift your chest. That'll give you a nice natural lumbar curve, and then a good spinal position as we go through our bear sit, tails, and rails. Okay? So from this position, we're going to do 2 sets, tails and rails. So while I explain the tails and rails, you can just use those arms to just guide yourself open more. If you're really mobile, then keep a nice tall chest, but you can close down that angle a little bit so you can move forward. So as you saw that, as I did that, right? So from here, it's a lot easier. As I close down, my hips are going to want to do that, right? So if you're really mobile and you can get your knees almost to the floor, keep a nice tall chest, close down that hip angle a little bit, or the torso angle, torso to hip angle, to give yourself a little bit more challenge, okay? So in this position, right, we're just continuing to stretch with belly breathing, 4 to 5 count on the inhale, 8 to 10 count on the exhale. As we go through that there, we'll start our pails, and our pails will be crushing in, elbows are driving out, right? So I'm at my end range, but I'm contracting everything here isometrically to get a good contraction. So if we can build that up for 10, hold that contraction max at 100% for 10. And then from there, keep my arms where they are, and I'm going to try to open my knees away from my arms towards the floor, using those outer hips to really just try to open up into more abduction. And then we're going to hold that for 15 seconds, and then we'll go take a break, and we'll go round 2. Okay, so find the position, sit up nice and tall, use those elbows, pull your knees up towards the chest a little bit more. You can certainly do that as well. From here, I'm just going to work on my breathing. So inhale, exhale, inhale, belly breath, exhale. As you exhale, you should feel your body relax. You should get yourself deeper in that stretch, okay? So sit up nice and tall. So brace that core, take a breath in. Pack that air down the lower abdomen, and then slowly start driving the knees up into the elbows down into the knees, contracting everything down these inner thighs here. 30%, 40%, 50, 60, 70, 80, keep building, 90, and 100% effort. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rails. Pull those knees away from those arms. Try to stay tall. Open up those hips like you're trying to dive your knees towards the floor. You're feeling the glutes working. Feel good, you feel nice and stable. You can take those hands here. You see more stability up front. You can take those hands together and just keep trying to open those knees up. Let's go through the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Open your knees up a little more. You want to move forward a little bit more. We're just going to rest here for about 30 seconds. Just work on your breathing. If you can shake them out for a second, if you can. Make sure we're breathing. We got one more set there. After that first set, you're going to say you start about here. You should be a little bit deeper. That just shows how the brain controls a lot of the tension that goes on in our body, right? The muscles are long or short as they need to be. We just want to make sure that we can create better ownership of them so we can, over time, expand the brain's control over long range of motion, which is how we improve mobility and overall joint health, right? So it's not about just stretching, but it's about strengthening in that stretch so we can get those gains stick. It's about teaching our nervous system how to move our body. Okay? So here, have those shins, sit up nice and tall, elbows to the inside of the knees, take a breath in, solidify that core, and slowly start driving those knees into the elbows, elbows into the knees. We're at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100% effort, crush in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rails, pull knees away, drive towards the floor, stay tall, keep getting more, keep getting more, keep getting more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Very good. So from there, we're just going to do what's called passive range liftoffs. Okay? So from this position, so all the way open, I'm going to close it down just a little bit. So I'm kind of coming out at about 15 to 20 degrees. And I'm going to hold those shins, and then keeping my arms where they are, I'm going to drive my knees away from my elbows, and just try to open and close back down. Okay? We're going to do 10 reps here. Just working on just getting as far open as possible, squeezing it, holding that, contracting it, and then close it back down. Okay? Here, sit tall, arms still. We're going to do 10 reps there. Open, close, open, 2, open, lift off, down, 3, open, lift off, 4, open, lift off, 5, 5 more here, and open, close, 6, open, close, 7, open, close, 8, open, close, 9, last one, we're going to open and hold, 5, open, hold that, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Very good. That was our passive range of liftoffs. So from here, we're going to go into what's called double arm shoulder cars. So from there, this is going to be a tough one if you're not super comfortable in bear positions. This is one if you want to, you can certainly go up onto a block, or you can just really focus on one arm at a time. So I'll go up on the block just for demonstration's sake. It's going to allow you to sit up taller, and allow you to get a little bit more T-spine extension, which is what we're going to need for good, clean shoulder cars. So usually we do the shoulder cars one at a time. In this case, we're going to go both arms together, so it's going to be a significant amount of core challenge, postural stability, as we work to keep the chest tall, body nice and still as I work through double arm shoulder cars. So of course, normally we add the adduction in, and then we go over the top and around and through for the shoulder car. In this case, because we're going both arms at the same time, we're just going to go straight up into flexion, get to the top, rotate through, and then back over, just straight down into flexion. Okay? We're going to go 5 reps here. We're getting our shoulders ready for the swimmers that we're going to be doing a little bit later in the class. Okay, so just like always though, just in Bearsit, we always want to just try to keep opening up. So just because we're focusing on the shoulders, we want to make sure we're not letting those hips close down. Okay, so stay open as much as possible. Sit up nice and tall, use those arms, use those shins, get you up nice and tall. Try to hold that position there. Both arms together. Take a breath in. Solidify that core, solidify that torso. Up into flexion. Just turn up a little bit. Up into flexion. From there, I will slowly rotate, reach back as I do so. I'm still trying to stay tall through that chest, core stability. Come down to the sides. If your hands hit the floor, you can make fists. Make sure we're nice and tall. And then we're going to go up into back into extension. Over the top. Reach. Rotate. Down. That's 1. Stay open. Keep grabbing those hips open. It's the hip exercise as much as it is a shoulder exercise. Keep going, keep reaching back, make fists as you come down so you can clear the floor. Extend over the top, back down. That is 2. Reset the core, reset the torso if you need to. Up, over, around, down, back, over, biceps to ears. 3, 2 more there. Straight up. Over. Come back. Stay tall. Chest is up. Extend. Rotate. Biceps to ears. 4. Last one here. Stay tall. Brace. Flexion. Internally rotate, work those shoulders, squeeze back, squeeze those shoulder blades. Come down, extend, round, over, and down. Very nice. Get those shoulders nice and warmed up. We'll give them a little break. So when we come back, we'll come back to some swimmers to kind of finish off today's class. Throw the block off to the side. We're going to go back to some hip windshield wipers. Just hip internal, external rotation. Just kind of get some light back on the hips. We've been holding that kind of Bearsit position open for quite some time. So we'll just go right back here. Work on some rotation. That should feel pretty good after holding that open position for so long. Same thing. We're going to go 5 reps. Hold each end position about 2-3 seconds. Make sure both sit bones stay down. The rest of the body stays nice and still. Squeeze into that. Feel it. Back out. 2. And squeeze. Out. 3. Reset. You can. 2 more. Squeeze in. Feel that squeeze. Squeeze out. Feel that squeeze. Really try to open up towards the floor. Last one. Squeeze it. Squeeze it. 5 for more. 5 for more. 5 for more. Keep the sit bone down on that right side. Open up. 5 for more so you can get that knee to the floor, especially after doing those pails and rows from Bearsit. And relax. Okay, let's go through sides. Stay open. Again, left hip's working, right knee continues, right hip continues to try to open up more full time. Okay? Doesn't need to be a max contraction, but I think about 50% contraction on that right hip to try to stay open so it doesn't goes down. So we're going to take that left hip in, left hip out. Left hip in, left hip out. Stay about 90 degrees there, trying to open up as much as you can. Left hip in, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. Out. 3. 2 more. In. Out. In. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep both sit bones down. Out. Open. Both hips open. Fight to stay open. And just roll both in and out. Just get some light back in there. Okay, so from here we're going to work some Bearsit knee hinges. So first one, or earlier in the class we did flexion, or hip flexion, right? So now we're going to be working here. So we'll go back to our right hip. We're going to lift, keeping the knee right there. We're just going to work on flexing, extending, flexing, extending, okay? We're going to go 5 reps, super slow, as slow as we can, slower than your body is telling you it wants to go. Make sure that everything else stays as still as possible. Make sure that knee stays right in position there, or the femur, and then the knee is the only thing working. Flexion, extension. You can't get all the way out. You can't lock out the leg without your body moving. That's totally okay. It's all about supporting that leg, using that hip flexion, getting as much extension of the knee as you possibly can, and then just working on over time, working on getting a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. That's what you practice, especially if you go down before. Okay, so from here, sit up tall. The further you lean back, the easier it's going to be. So keep that in mind, right? So if it's way too hard, up nice and tall like that, and walk back a little bit. If you're back here and it's too easy, slowly take yourself forward, and then over time you can even get to the point here where you're sitting up and you're holding that hip up and working the extension. Here we'll just go hands behind us, spread the floor with those hands. I'm going to pull that knee just straight up here, go up into a slight flexion, and then I'm just going to work knee flexion, extension, flexion, extension. That's 2. Flexion, extension, 3, flexion, extension, 4, last one, flexion, that locked out, squeeze that quad, feel that hip flexor, back in, set down, 5. Very good. Other leg, lift, flexion, extension, flexion, extension, 2, stay tall, flexion, extension, 3, flexion, extension, 4, if you're not shaking, you're faking, last one, flexion, stay up, extend that knee, lock it out, bring it back to 90, and come back down. Whew. Take a break, collect your breathing, collect yourself here. From there, we're gonna go back into, let's go onto the block if you need to. So nothing wrong with that, just gonna make the hips, take the pressure off the hips just a little bit. Because now, we're gonna go into our bear sit swimmer hovers. So we're gonna go 5 reps, super slow. That's why I went up onto the block. So we're gonna focus as much on the shoulders as possible. I'm still giving our hips something to do, but we still want to stay in this bear sit for today's class. But really want to make it as much about the shoulders and scaps here as much as possible. So you want to focus on a good position first instead of trying to force yourself to a position that you may not be able to control. So if you feel like sitting on the block is too easy, by all means, sit on the floor. Again, just like we've done the other positions, actively trying to drive open the whole time. So just because they're focused on the shoulders, try not to let those hips cave in. They're going to want to, right? And if it happens, it happens. But just continue to try to open up, continue to try to externally rotate and abduct those hips as much as possible. Okay, so I'm going to sit tall. Hands go behind the head. So in this position here, my core is braced. Make sure I'm here, ribs are down. I'm not extending my spine, right? So body's nice and tight. Hips are trying to drive towards the floor, knees about 90 degrees. I'm going to kick those elbows back towards the wall behind me. Continue to try to squeeze back. Now I'm going to take my hands off of my head towards that back wall. Continuing to try to fight to drive back the whole time. Go to my Y position here. Make sure I'm shrugging, right? So body stays nice and tight. I'm going to rotate just like I did my shoulder cars earlier. Get back, arms are up. Bend those elbows. Hands together behind the back, but don't touch down. Then touch down. Let the elbows come down. Reset. Elbows back. Hands off. Extend back. Slowly keep trying to drive up. So the knees keep trying to creep in, right? Keep trying to drive open. Hands come together behind the head. Hands touch down. Elbows in. Nice 1. 4 more. Finishing today's class with a bang here. Sit tall. Elbows. Hands. Wide. Keep pressing back behind you. Keep driving those knees open. Turn them over. Reach. Bend. Set down. Reset. Elbows. Hands. Extend. Up. Press back. Behind the head. Hands come together. Don't touch the head yet. Then touch down. Those 2. Set up. Hands, elbows back. Hands off. Reach up. Swim down. Reach back. Touch together. Touch down. Halfway. Elbows back. Hands off. Extend. Swim it up. Keep pressing back behind you. Elbows bend. Hands behind the head. Keep driving back to the wall. Touch down. That is 3. Keep trying to drive open. Keep going. Stay tall. Got 2 more. Elbows back. Hands off. Up into the Y. Keep pressing back behind you. Keep trying to open those knees. Turn those hands over. Extend. Get tall. Keep that chest up. Hands come together. Set down. Now you know why I asked you to get on that block. Here we go. Elbows back. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Hands come off. Extend. Over the top. Get to that Y. Keep pressing back behind you. Keep trying to open those knees. Hands come together behind the head. Set down. We got 1 more rep here. Keep trying to open up. Keep trying to drive away. Last one. Sit up tall. Brace that core. Back should be screaming at you. Hands off. Reach up. Rotate. Swing it down. Stay hands as high as you can possibly take them. Bend those elbows. Don't touch down yet. Touch down. Ooh, last half rep. Sit up tall. Squeeze those hips. elbows back, shoulder blade squeeze, hands off, reach, up, wide, elbows, hands, keep pressing back behind you, and touch down. Wow, very good. So you can come off that block there. Set it off to the side. We're going to do one more set of windshield wipers. Internal, external rotation capsule cars. Both sit bones stay down. Hips have been open this whole time. So it should feel really good. Just internal, rotate, keep both sit bones down. Externally rotate, open up as much as you can. 1, 2, open, close, open, 3, 2 more. 4, that's 1, give it again, 5 seconds squeeze, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, open up, squeeze, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, switch legs, 5 reps here, internal squeeze, open, squeeze, 1, internal squeeze, external, 2, 3, set up if you need to, got 2 more, rotate that hip in the capsule, 4, keep trying to open that right hip, last one here, 5 second squeeze, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, together, shake them out, and you can come out of that Bearsit position here. You want to go crisscross. Usually it feels pretty good after sitting in that Bearsit for that long. Thank you for joining me in today's class. That was a about 28-minute Bearsit class there. That was first just Bearsit class that we've done. So if you made it through the whole way in that Bearsit, definitely sit on the block. That's totally cool. I commend you. That's a tough position to sit in. But the more variation, the more variables you can throw at your body with, proper function, proper positioning, the better everything's going to feel. So if you're someone who's got tight hips, needs to open them up, Bearsit class is going to be one for you because we're going to work on multiple aspects of your hip mobility. But again, practice your cars, practice your pails and rails for the positions that you need to work on, the specific joint angles you need to work on, and continue to work on it on a daily basis. The more time you put into it, the bigger your payoff you're going to feel. So again, thank you for joining me in today's Bearsit class. That was a tough one. I commend you. I hope to see you at the next class.